Well, hello, everybody. It is good to be here among so many friends and fellow community members here in Southwest Georgia. I've been thinking a lot about community lately, and I've been considering this question: how do I love my neighbor? Now, more than ever before in our world's history, we live in this crazily diverse yet globally connected society. We may reside here in America, but we live as citizens of the world. So with so many different people from so many different cultural backgrounds, religious beliefs, political leanings, ideologies, influences, lifestyles, all trying to live peaceably under one universal roof, then the first question might be, who is my neighbor? And answering that, well, that can get a little tricky. I was first drawn into this region of the world by two of the peach states, and I think considering who I'm about to reference, I'd like to amend that and say two of the peanut states' most famous neighbors. And that's the 39th president and the former First Lady of the United States, Jimmy and Rosalind Carter. I've always been fascinated with their folksy upbringing and their compelling legacies, and so that led me straight to the front door of their little hometown of Plains, Georgia, which is a rural whistle stop of about 600 folks located just down the street from where we're actually assembled today. And that's where the Carters were born, where they were raised, and where they are living out the last of their nearly century-long, impactful, and incredible lives. And just as a personal connection, a little side note, as of about a year ago, I decided and am so very pleased to call the people and place of Plains my home. But it was more than the Carters that kept me coming back. There's this kind of, a plaintive mystery or kind of a haunted history about the Deep South that's intriguing to me. For instance, in Plains, there's literally a train track that divides the town into two. And on one side, the majority of white citizens, that's where they live. On the other side, that's where the majority of black citizens live. But you see, now I am one of those citizens, and I'm all up in the mix. On Sunday mornings, I wake up and I go attend Sunday school taught by my good friend Kim, and she teaches it for all of us, including her Uncle Jimmy and Aunt Rosalind. And I climb up on the back of a peanut tractor with my friends George and Jan to do the whole one block of the Peanut Festival parade. And I sit on the front porch with Miss Mary, and we talk about the challenge of integrating black and white communities in this area. Well, no matter the event, no matter the conversation, as I'm finding my own space of belonging among these people and among this place, I keep hearing traces of that question: how do I love my neighbor? Well, on a mission trip, President Carter met Cuban-American pastor Eloy Cruz, and the kind of odd pairing they were tasked with witnessing their Christian faith to immigrants in Massachusetts. And President Carter was just blown away by Pastor Cruz's seemingly easy ability to convert complete strangers into totally new friends. And so he asked him, what was the secret to his success? Pastor Cruz thought about it for a second, and then he looked at his new friend, Jim, and he said, "Senor Jimmy, you must only have two loves in your life, one for God and one for the person in front of you at any particular moment." Now, I had never met Pastor Cruz, but when I read those words, they jumped off the page at me, and I thought, wait, just be present? That's the answer, that's the solution to this great big riddle of how do I love my neighbor? And I began to be filled with my insecurities when I'm present with other people. What about how they think about me or feel about me or how they perceive me? What if I say the wrong thing to the wrong person at the wrong time? What about me? I could hear just a faint seeming echo of Pastor Cruz's words. No, Andrew, just be present with the person in front of you right now. But what about all my opinions and all my perspectives about marriage, abortion, gun violence, politics, religion, about God? What about how I feel about Trump? Just honor the woman in front of you. Take a second, take the time to listen to the young man sitting over there by himself. I was quieted and I was convicted. how the easy weakness of me dissolves into the beautiful strength of we. When I am willing, when we are willing to be present with the person in front of us at any given moment. So I ask that question again of us, how do we love our neighbor? Well, if one of the possible answers is being present, being together, then I've got to call out or be made aware of in my own life what keeps me at arm's length from being present. I don't know about you, but for me, it's typically sitting right here in the palm of my hand. And it feeds this incessant need to fire off another email or text a message, or worst of all, scrolling social media. And while there's certainly no harm in finding new ways to connect with each other, I am truly convinced that nothing could ever replace or substitute FaceTime in real time with another real-life human being present, being together. But you see, that's hard for me. I'm so afraid of being known at all. I have this little blue notebook, and my counselor has me keep a list of names in it, people who are safe for me to share my whole story with, my innermost secrets, to be vulnerable, to be authentic, to be honest with. And that list of names is short. I don't think it's because there's a short supply of safe people in my circle of community. I'm just so afraid of being found out or discovered. What if they knew who I really was? What if they learned what I did last night and how that completely opposes what I'm preaching on this morning? What if I lose my reputation, or I lose my seat at the table, or I find out that I actually don't belong at all, or worst of all, I find out that I am not loved? I wonder if you have some of these questions, some of the things I'm feeling are some of your fears. Being isolated or rejected, displaced, being unlovable. How can I learn to love my neighbor if I don't even know how to love myself? It is not easy to do the heavy lifting of facing our own fears, of being made aware of our shortcomings so that we can become mentally, emotionally, and spiritually well. I have addictions in my life that I will have to face for the rest of my life. So for me, it takes great courage to pull back that bed cover, set my feet on the ground, get dressed, and drive that long drive to the counselor's office. But for me, it's important to seek out the good advice of a good therapist. For me, it's imperative that I call up a good friend for some meaningful conversation over a cup of coffee. For me, being together, being present with one another, it's a lifesaver. Now, I think we all want to find our space of belonging, right? We all want to make a difference in the world, or at least in the life of one other person. I truly believe we really do want to love our neighbor. But that begins right where you are and where I am right now, because learning to love our neighbor begins with learning to love ourselves. And you know what the beautiful thing is? When I learn to love myself, I no longer have to pay so much attention to myself. And suddenly, answering that big question, or living out that wonderful question, how do I love my neighbor, becomes a little simpler, a little more tangible, a little more doable. And it comes down to being present with the person in front of you and in front of me right now. Thank you.